Hi, I'm Magnus Svanfeldt at MSM Music. This is a tutorial about how to mix your vocals professionally. This tutorial will cover a lot of things. What is a DAW? How to choose a DAW? How to use iPhone? How to use an Android phone? How to use an advanced option. In this case it's Cubase. What is comping? What's the compressor? What's the EQ? Reverb delay? Gate, DeEsser, saturation, auto-tune, Melodyne, panning, stems and harmonies. What is a DAW? To mix your vocals you need a DAW. A DAW, D-A-W, which means a digital audio workstation, is like a mixer board in your computer or your smartphone. As in all mixer boards, all instruments or vocals are on their own tracks in a DAW and can be edited individually. This is the basis for mixing a song or vocals that you want to send to a producer. Audio and MIDI. In the DAW you can either have audio or MIDI. Audio is recorded vocals or real instruments like guitars, basses and drums. MIDI is different instruments that are programmed by the engineer or producer. To a listener they can sound absolutely the same. MIDI is sometimes called instruments, but it should not be confused with real instruments. How to choose a DAW? Which is best? It's easy to answer. Choose a DAW that you like. The best DAW is the one you like and know the best. Most DAWs work in the same way, basically. You have one track for each instrument and you can edit them individually and the level and effects you want to have. Most DAWs are not free, but some actually are. Some work both on a Mac or on Windows and some only in one of them. A few works on smartphones or iPads. I will describe two easy ones. Garageband and Bandlab, and one advanced, Cubase. On your iPhone you use Garageband. It has a lot of presets, so you don't have to be a mix engineer to record and mix professional vocals. For editing the vocals, do the following. Press Settings, choose Track Controls. Make sure that lead vocals is the preset. If not, press the microphone symbol and change the preset to lead vocals. Press plugins and EQ. Uncheck everything except the compressor, track reverb and visual EQ. If your recording is noisy, keep noise gate checked. Playback the vocals both solo and in the mix to decide the noise gate threshold level. Keep compressor as it is. Press track reverb. Now you have to decide how much reverb you want by changing the wet level. Less reverb puts the sound close to the listener. More reverb puts the sound further away from the listener. I think the vocals should be close to the listener, so I would pick less reverb, but not zero. But that is only a matter of taste. Playback the vocals both solo and in the mix to decide the reverb level. Press Visual EQ. Drag the orange button at 200 down. This is your high-pass low-cut filter. It will make the noise in the lower region disappear and make room for your vocals in the higher frequencies. That was the basics of doing it in Garageband. On the Android phone you choose Bandlab. It has a lot of presets, so you don't have to be a mix engineer to record and mix professional vocals. For editing the vocals, do the following. Double press the microphone symbol of your vocal track. Press the FX button. Scroll right to choose tight vocals. Press the white settings button. Uncheck DeEsser unless you feel there are problems with S and other consonants like P, T and K. Keep compressor as it is. Press Studio Reverb. Now you have to decide how much reverb you want by changing the mix level. Less reverb puts the sound close to the listener, more reverb puts the sound further away from the listener. I think the vocals should be close to the listener, so I would pick less reverb, but not zero. But it's a matter of taste. Play back the vocals both solo and in the mix to decide the reverb level. Press the plus sign and choose Graphic EQ. Move the 100 Hz levels halfway to the left. This is your high-pass, low-cut filter. It will make the noise in the lower regions disappear and make room for your vocals in the higher frequencies. Auto-tune. Press the auto pitch button. Choose light, medium or heavy. Use light if you don't want to sound like a robot. Play back the vocals both solo and in the mix to decide the auto pitch level. If your recording is noisy, press plus button and choose the dynamic group. Choose noise gate. Set the threshold so you only remove the noise and not your vocals. Play back the vocals both solo and in the mix to decide the threshold level. And that was everything you have to do in Bandlab. In this section I will describe Cubase that runs on Mac or Windows. There's a bunch of other DAWs out there in different price ranges, but most of them work the same way. When you set the different effects described below, play back the vocals both solo and in the mix to decide each effect level. Comping. Comping is the process where you compile your recording by choosing the best parts of your different takes. You can also cut out unwanted noise and change the volume on parts that are too low or too high in the volume level. Start comping by removing silent parts before and after each phrase. Heavy breathing and noise might be in those parts. Attach a short fade in and fade out on all parts. Continue with editing the best take for each part. Change volume where it's too low or too high. Compressor. The compressor fixes uneven volume levels. The compressor raises areas with too low volume and lowers areas with too high volume. EQ. EQ filters the frequencies. It makes room for all instruments in the mix and filters away noise in unwanted frequencies. When several instruments are loud in the same frequency, they compete and kill each other. Vocals should be filtered in lower frequencies and raised in higher. So low cut, high pass filter is used. The filtered frequencies for female vocals are under 120 Hz and for male vocals under 90 Hz. Reverb delay. The reverb places the singer or instrument in a room. Less reverb puts the sound close to the listener, more reverb puts the sound further away from the listener. I think the vocals should be close to the listener, so I would pick less reverb, but not zero, because then you don't have any room at all. For many reverb effects, there are presets named after different rooms, like closet, kitchen, living room, church, arena. For larger room, the distance to the singer increases. But this is a matter of taste. In some genres, lots of reverb is used, but in other less. The reverb can also be used harder or to create special effects on certain parts of the song. Play back the vocals both solo and in the mix to decide the reverb level. Gate. Noise gate is a filter to remove unwanted noise. However, it's much better to do the vocals without noise than to try to fix it in the post-production. The threshold determines how loud noise that will be filtered away. A too high threshold will also clip lower parts of the vocals. Play back the vocals both solo and in the mix to decide the threshold level. DeEsser. The DeEsser removes unwanted S sounds and pop sounds like P, K and T. Like the noise gate, it's better to remove it while recording by using a pop killer attached to the mic. Another trick is to hold a pen in front of the mic or sing in an angle instead of straight to the mic. Saturation. Saturation is used to make soft vocals sound more intense. Modern singing techniques involves low intense singing and whispering, which will make the vocals sound relaxed. Saturation can be used to intensify some of the parts so the singer doesn't have to scream. Choose channel strip, DeEsser. Tape saturation. Auto-tune Melodyne. Pitch control, like auto-tune or Melodyne, has a bad reputation as being cheating. Too heavy pitch control also makes the singer sound like a robot. The truth is that it's used frequently, even on vocals that doesn't sound pitched at all. Pitch controls helps vocals nearly on pitch to be on pitch. And it can also be used to create stems and harmonies to widen the sound. The pitch control changes the pitch of each note, but also the drift. Auto-tune and Melodyne can also be used to change the timing and length of each note. Open Melodyne and place Melodyne on top of the effect chain. Press transfer to transfer the vocals. Play the complete track and stop playback. Melodyne will import the track. Select all notes by pressing Ctrl A and press pitch control. Choose 100% correct pitch center and choose 50% correct pitch drift. Observe how the notes line up in the center of each line. Now, play the complete track, both solo and in the mix, and check that no note has been corrected incorrectly. If you're very close to a wrong note, then it will be corrected to that note instead. If you find any incorrect notes, change them manually by dragging it with the manual pitch tool. Panning. EQ and reverb places the different instruments on different places on the stage and makes room for them all. Panning, left and right, is also used for the same reason. In the early days of stereo, one instrument was played hard to the left and another one hard to the right. This sounded very weird when listening with headphones. Later, softer panning appeared, but today instruments are often panned left and right, but with different percentages for each instrument. However, lead vocals and bass are usually panned in the center. Stems and harmonies. Stems usually use the same notes as the lead, and harmonies use other notes in the chord. Stems and harmonies can be used in the obvious way to make the song sound like it's sung by a choir. They can also be used to make the vocal sound wide, since the lead is often panned dead center. Both stems and harmonies can be recorded separately, but they can also be created by cloning the lead vocals. Make a copy of the lead vocals. Make sure you have done all comping and other modifications before you do this. Change the reverb to a larger reverb. Change the pitch control to another one than the one used on the lead vocals. Use more pitch control if you have a little or no pitch control on the lead vocals. Use less pitch control if you have a lot of pitch control on the lead vocals. Add a mono to stereo effect to create 2 tracks, one pan right and one left. The percent of the left-right can be any number, but it's good to use different numbers if you use the effect on several instruments or vocals. Set a pre-delay of 10 to 20 milliseconds on the track. If you have 2 tracks, set negative delay on one of the tracks. These actions will make the stem sound different from the lead vocals. When all effects are applied, lower the volume of the stems until you can't hear it in the mix. You will not hear it, and the listener will not hear it, but if you remove it, you will notice that something is gone. Harmonies. Open Melodyne on the stem track or on a second copy of the stem with all stem effects applied. Select all notes. Move all notes 4 steps up. Listen to the complete track, both solo with the lead vocals and in the mix, to determine which notes must be lowered or raised. Fix these notes manually. A tip is to start by using notes that are in the key of the song. For instance, C major only has notes C, D, E, F, G, A, B. They are all white on the piano and in the Melodyne grid. Thank you. That was all about mixing your vocals professionally. If you like this video, you know what to do. Press the subscribe button.